You grab your phone, intending to do some actual work, but you're immediately swallowed by a bottomless feed of bright, noisy distraction. Before you know it, an entire hour has evaporated. You snap out of it and tell yourself, I'll get serious on Monday. But Monday rolls around and that quiet, nagging voice returns. The one asking, what if I'm just not good enough? What if I put myself out there and fail completely? It hurts because you actually do want to build that channel or launch that side hustle. You have real ideas, yet you spend your evenings sitting on the couch watching other people live out the exact creative life you know you're capable of. This cycle of delay actively erodes your creative confidence. Every time you push your ambitions aside to watch someone else's, you are training yourself to believe you aren't capable of doing the same. To protect our egos, we convince ourselves that we just aren't ready yet. We decide that before we can hit record, we absolutely need a professional microphone, expensive ring lights, and a cinematic camera. But agonizing over gear is a psychological defense mechanism. If you convince yourself you need a pristine studio, you never have to face the terrifying vulnerability of publishing an amateur, messy first attempt. The math here is brutal. If action requires flawless conditions, your progress stays completely flat. You are tethering your success to a perfect moment that keeps sliding infinitely out of reach. By demanding absolute readiness before you take a single step, you guarantee that the day you finally start will never actually arrive. Look closely at the content you consume every day. There are thousands of highly successful creators who never once show their faces or turn on a studio light. They are building massive audiences using tools anyone can access: rich stock footage, clean whiteboard graphics, and AI voiceovers. Stick figure animation became the path forward for me. It allowed someone with zero professional equipment and no desire to be on camera to finally begin. These simple drawings strip away all visual noise. There are no distracting backgrounds or awkward camera angles, forcing the viewer to engage purely with the raw underlying idea. People don't subscribe to your expensive microphone. They connect with the honesty of your experience and the value of your story. So why do we stay stuck? Because we operate on a flawed equation. We believe that we have to feel a massive surge of motivation before we can do the work. The reality is exactly the opposite. When you force a tiny physical action, that initial movement generates the motivation required to keep going. Action creates motivation. You spark that engine by starting incredibly small. I committed to a strict 5-minute writing session every single morning. No expectations of brilliance, just 5 minutes of putting thoughts on a page. To make sure that tiny window survived, I had to lock down my environment. I installed app blockers on my devices, actively shielding those fragile 5 minutes from the default habit of scrolling. I also changed my digital diet. Instead of numbing my brain with endless viral videos, I started actively studying how other creators paced their edits and structured their storytelling. Momentum compounds through these tiny, fiercely protected pockets of daily action. This habit creates a more sustainable engine than any sudden, drastic lifestyle overhaul. Doing the actual work is ugly. I filled notebooks with dozens of terrible scripts and wrestled with clunky, frustrating editing software for 30 minutes at a time. I wasn't just daydreaming anymore. I was taking rigorous notes, dissecting exactly how successful channels kept their viewers watching, and testing those mechanics in my own files. These painful first drafts and awkward practice sessions provide the essential data you need to figure out what actually works. Every creator you admire started by making something bad. Producing amateur, imperfect work is the mandatory toll you have to pay on the road to mastery. Eventually, those fragmented hours of practice compound into something real. You find yourself sitting at your desk, staring at a completed project, ready to press the button. You will still feel completely unready. The fear of what people might think will still be there, but the sheer momentum of your past actions will finally push you forward. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for the ultimate camera. Accept that your early work will be messy, and start while you are still scared. Years from now, your future self won't look back and cringe at the low resolution of your first upload. They will only be grateful that you finally had the courage to begin.